Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for making the time today to join me for the March Live. I can't believe we are 3 months into the year. Today, we're going to talk Planning 101. What are the best tools, the best practices for actually getting our goals moving? I don't know about you, but I'm definitely feeling the crunch of, oh man, the year is flying by. It is time to make moves. It's time to ensure that we have built a little momentum in terms of going forward. So here we are together. I'm so excited to be here. So thank you for joining. And let's get going as always. So here's the thing: what normally happens when we set a goal or we need to start a project, we're very focused on the how. What are the steps? What are the milestones? And I'm not saying that that's a bad thing. I think that's a very reasonable thing for us to do. But I think it's putting the cart before the horse a little bit. Um, what we really need to do as step one, the plan for the plan, which has really been what all of my March content has been about, is creating a project scope. And I think the 5 W's that have been running our lives since, I don't know, the third grade are an amazing framework and one that we will always be able to just kind of pull up top of mind. So that is what I'm going to focus on here. If you guys would like to drop in the comments something that you do at the beginning of projects, I would love to see it. I'd love to hear it. There's a little bit of a delay, so I'm just going to move on, but I'll be checking for the comments and circle back to them. Okay. Oh, also, what I'm about to go through, document this. Put it into a Word document. Put it into an email. I don't care how easy or simple your project is. Even the small stuff is sometimes bigger or needs to be bigger than what we do. And I'm going to give an example of that after I go over the 5 W's. Okay, so what? What is usually the goal, right? What is the ask? This is the change or the impact that we're trying to make. But I just posted about this a couple of days ago on LinkedIn, and that's your goals may not be aligned with your department, with your company. You may think the ask is X, but the ask is really Y. If we do not take some time at the front end to clarify this, our work will be for nothing. And we are busy. When we are engaging in a project or a goal, we're asking ourselves to carve out time from an incredibly busy full-time job in the day-to-day to do this other thing. And when we get to the end of that other thing and it doesn't meet expectations, that's a tough day at the office because we had to let a ball drop or we had to set something down that was also very important to us in order to achieve this. And if we're not aligned, that's frustrating. Hey, and it leads to a withdrawal from that relationship, right? That leads to burnout. That leads to hopelessness. That leads to disengagement. There is so much writing on some of the simple things that we can do on the front side. And if you are a leader and you are assigning work or giving projects and you are not willing to go through these 5 W's with your team, you are making a critical error. You may get the return on that project, but in the long run, you're not creating a sustainable culture, a sustainable environment, a happy and thriving team. And those are the things that kind of eat you for lunch. All right, so what's the change? What's the impact? What's the what, right? Pretty straightforward. All of this is actually pretty straightforward, but it's important for us to do. Why? Why is this good? Why do we want this change? Why is this impact necessary? Let's talk through that, and let's also talk through why now. Again, we are incredibly busy. When we do projects, we have to carve out the time. So I need to know why this project in this moment. And that's an incredibly important step in change management. And again, every project, every goal has some component of change management. If we don't treat it as such, we are not going to get the lasting results that we are looking for. All right, who does this impact? And so yeah, who's going to be impacted? Who needs to know? But also, who do we need in order to accomplish this change? These are important people to know, important groups to outline at the front end. And it will also put you into the right frame of mind as we think through the how after we do our project scope. And we know everyone that needs to be informed of our activities. And honestly, it makes it easier because when somebody is a blocker down the road, their team, their group, they themselves we're notified, we're included on the front end, and that changes the dynamics of, hey, I need you to get that thing done. So it's really important to identify all the who's and then make sure that we involve them from the front end. When. So this is your timeline. When do you want to do it? And also think about, do we have time to meet that expectation based on all of the thoughts that we're having through the what, the why, and the who? All of these, yes, there's an order, but they all kind of play into each other. And they will impact each other and will impact the answers. Where does the physical and digital footprint of this endeavor live? There are the things that are specific to the thing you're doing, and then there is what is relevant to the project process. There are so many meetings that I've been on where someone's like, oh, I didn't get that done because I didn't know where the deliverable was supposed to go. Or, oh, I couldn't find the source information. I didn't know where it was. Documenting that on the front side is incredibly beneficial. And if you are managing the project amidst other things, and you have this information sort of documented, it will save you probably 1 million frustrating emails along the process. So I highly encourage you to think through the where and document that as part of your project scope. Anything else, please feel free to drop it in the comments. Any other key items that you think should go into a project scope that maybe aren't covered on under the what, why, who, when, and where? I would love to see your contributions. Okay, what does this look like? Let's say your boss asks you to add a new carrier to the TMS. That's easy, right? Like most TMSs, you can do that in under 60 seconds. Done. And if you can't, call me. Let's talk about your TMS. Add some credentials. See, you're live. Awesome. Cool. It's not a project. I fixed it. And I think this happens a lot, and this is how we create a lot of our own chaos. I talk a lot about the logistics doom loop. If you're there, it's not like. I talk a lot about the logistics doom loop, right? That we're in our plan, we're trying to make things happen, and disruptions keep hitting us over and over and over again, and we have to go all hands on deck, and then we just get further and further and further and further behind, right? Some of this comes from the outside. No one was going to stop COVID. No one was going to prevent it. No one was going to predict it. But there is some chaos. There is some disruption that is absolutely our own making from not taking the time to plan, not taking the time to be intentional on the front end. And I'm not saying that it's easy. I'm just saying that it's absolutely 100% necessary. Okay. So let's add that carrier to the TMS. Let's go through our project scope. That's a what, pretty straightforward, pretty easy. Why are we doing this? We could be doing this for so many different reasons, and those reasons could absolutely impact what we do, what are habits. So is this for cost savings? Is this because someone has a specific service and it's something that we need to add for our customers? Did somebody get Super Bowl tickets? Why now? Did we have volume growth? The Super Bowl just happened. Was there an RFP? Is there a new relationship? Why? Just realized I'm not wearing my mic. I really hope people can hear me. Those are important things to know because they'll inform some of the other actions. If it's for cost savings, then I might want to look at my least cost report down the road. If it's for specific service, then I might want to make sure that we're using it in those cases. I might want to make that the only carrier available to choose. Maybe it's a white glove situation and we need to request a quote in a certain way for it to come back. Like I don't particularly know what the situation is, but unless we ask why and why now, we are not going to be able to do the project as thoroughly as we want. Okay, who's impacted? There are a lot. This is a simple one sentence request, and there are a lot of people impacted. Shipping is impacted because now they have to monitor another warehouse or another pickup. Warehouse is impacted because now they have to manage another carrier cutoff time that might be different from what they're used to. Sales is impacted, right? This could be good or bad for them. Maybe they've been asking for lower rates, and so lower cost carrier is awesome. Maybe they've been asking for the service, and so now they can finally provide it to their customer. Or maybe they're going to be pissed off because you're putting a low cost carrier in, and their customers are used to a certain standard of whatever. They're just used to the same carrier every day, and now we're going to change it up. And if we don't let them know in advance, this might come back to bite us in the behind. IT, what needs to happen in your tech stack? You're introducing a new carrier. Does that integrate seamlessly, or do you need to do something? And the only way you're going to know that is if you ask a question. Accounting, you got to set this up. Right? You got to make sure you can pay your new carrier, and you also need to make sure that there's no issues with your prepay and add process. Your current carrier, someone's going to lose business, right? Like, should we be proactive in communicating to them what the situation is? The new carrier, maybe they need volume estimates. They need to know your pickup SOP. They might need to drop equipment. All of these things could happen from this one simple, tiny request. This could impact 100 people or more. When does this start? And do you have enough time considering the above? I could do it like that, right? I could do this at any moment. But when should I do it is a really, really important question. And where? Does this affect all locations? Is this only for some? Where's our carrier information stored? There's going to be a lot of people that are going to need to know that. Where's my project plan stored? This isn't going to be a 60-second endeavor, even though it could be. Let's make sure that that is well documented and then well communicated. So, we don't have to do all this, but if we don't, you are going to have to deal with the calls that come. And they're probably going to come at Friday at 4 p.m. before you're taking a long weekend. Because that's how it works. Sales mad because their customer got delivered by a different carrier. The warehouse has missed pickups and there's freight sitting on the dock. IT is calling you frantic because the system is down because nobody updated the list of potential SCAC codes. Your new carrier is pissed because they're not getting paid for the shipments and you've started this relationship off on the wrong foot. Your existing carriers are looking at the volume saying, man, this has changed. We need to revisit the pricing, or you can't have your dropped trailer anymore, or this, that, or the other thing, or we're no longer going to give you that 7 p.m. pickup. And all of this is going to happen at the least convenient time. And then you will not be at choice when you're dealing with these disruptions. Whereas if we had gotten ahead of this, if we had had these conversations on the front end, if we had engaged in the project scope and then communicated to our who's, we would have at least gotten to control when these conversations took place and the temperature of the room while we were having them. And again, it's not always about eliminating work, but it's about doing the work with mental and emotional clarity so that we can do it well. And being intentional about the projects that you do and the things that you engage in, allowing you to be strategic on the front end and some tactical firefighting on the back end. It changes how much energy you use. It changes how your relationships are either enhanced or depleted when these things happen. There is just so much good stuff that goes into getting in front of the issues. So those are the choices, and this is clearly what I recommend and what I think is good. If you have any other thoughts or like, hey, that's not feasible and this is why, drop it in the comments. Let's have a discussion. I would love to hear from you. Okay, so we talked, the other thing in creating this event is I talked about technology. What should we use? And I actually took a poll, so I'm going to bring that up. All right, what is the best tool to use for planning? Slack, Trello, OneNote, other. I only had 4 options. There's like 1,000 options, right? We don't know. Well, one person did comment that the other was Excel. Excel is perfectly, amazingly adequate at like so many things. And Matt Z had a post on that earlier this week, which I just loved. But here's the truth of it. There's no one right way to do this. The best technology, it's the one your who's will use. Again, we have hard jobs. We do difficult things every single day. And when we want to do more than the day-to-day, which is what a project inherently is, we have to reduce as much friction as possible. And that, my friends, means catering to your audience. It means finding the least common denominator. It means just because it's best for you doesn't mean it's best for your project. There's the common, I don't know, phrase that this meeting could have been an email. And I love it because I think so many meetings could be emails. But the meeting can only be an email if people check their email. Putting the information into a tool that no one uses accomplishes nothing. You cannot wage this war on 2 fronts. Historically, that has not worked out. So I don't recommend tools. I love technology, but again, it's finding the tool your who will use. Your organization may be like at the front of the curve and they say all projects go into monday.com. Amazing, done. Well, don't try to use Trello because you like it a little bit better. Adopt what's a cultural norm, what's a team norm, and then excel from there. I think the simplest answer is the best answer. What is the easiest and clearest way to communicate the information I need to communicate? That is where you will find your power. Excel, amazing. You know, week to week, what's our progress? It's easy to see. It's easy to have notes. It can run your meetings. It can be pasted into an email in an easy format. Bullet points, freaking brilliant. Strike through text. These are just easy ways to communicate status. And that is going to be your most powerful tool. I see the ads all the time for motion, and I don't know how it works, but it feels like too much technology for the process. It feels like outsourcing the intentionality, and that's the thing that I caution against. You are the leader of the project. You need to lead. Don't outsource that. Don't try to get the technology to do that work for you, because it's not going to work. People respond to people, and that's really the long and short of it. So those are my tips. That is what I have for you today. If you do have any comments, please drop them in and I will address them. But in the meantime, thank you so much for joining me today. I really hope that there's something here that you can take with you into Q2, into turning your projects into a reality. If you need any help with putting one of your projects into a scope, reach out, set up a discovery call. I would love to talk through that with you. I'd love to hear what you found valuable out of today's session. Please find me on LinkedIn. I will also be at some conferences upcoming. In April, I'm going to be at Supply Chain USA. In May, I'm going to be at Supply Chain USA. In June, I will be at Home Delivery World. And in September, I will be at Commit Events Retail and Supply Chain Exposition. So I'm very excited about all of those. I will be on panels. So being able to communicate with you guys from the stage is going to be amazing. In the meantime, follow me on LinkedIn. I'm doing another event on Friday with John, Matt, and Jen, and we're talking about thought leadership and why we show up in this space and how we show up in this space. I think it'll be really fun and interesting to dialogue with them on that. And if you'd like to work with me, just set up a discovery call. I have my booking link right on my LinkedIn. Send me a direct message, anything. I am so excited to connect with you guys one-on-one whenever you have the time. All right, thank you so much and have a wonderful day.